Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Welcome to this week's edition of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. It may sound like a broken record, but folks, we've never experienced a spring like this ever since records have been kept. It's the windiest spring on record here in the eastern South Dakota, and that weather definitely continues to impact the bite around the area. It definitely continues to impact the number of people able to go out and try to fish. Some people have that are willing to put up with the uncomfortable conditions have had luck out there. But as we saw this past week at the NWT, also the tournament up at Big Stone, the fishing's been tough to say the least. But again, if you put in your time, you're going to come away with some success. Some of the lakes this past week that produce walleyes, and again, it's not setting the world on fire, but up in the northeast, those lakes included Bitter, Waubay, Reed, Indian Springs, Casey Slough, as well as a lot of the smaller sloughs up there. A lot of guys have been wading out and casting jigs and having some success doing that. Down the southeastern part of the state, the lakes that produced walleyes the past week included Dry Lake by Willow Lake, Ponset, Thompson, Henry, Whitewood, a few being caught at Madison, as well as Island and Beaver and Vermilion, and then also Twin Lakes. And again, remember, Twin Lake is the trophy lake. The big story has been the river, the Missouri River. A lot of fish have been caught out of there. As we saw with the NWT, it was pretty tough on Friday, but again, people that put in the time were able to catch fish. The spawn is still not over with, folks. Whether or not you're talking about the river or the lakes, it's still ongoing. But with the warmer weather expected over the next week or 10 days, that may really be coming to an end here pretty soon. But Chamberlain's been doing well from boat and from shore, depending on the day, and then also Platt has been doing well. Now, what have guys been doing to catch the walleyes around the area? Jigs and minnows, jigs and plastics. We're going to also talk about the hair jig behind me in Todd's Tackle Tips. That's been doing pretty well. And then otherwise, it's some guys have been pulling plugs. A few larger fish have been caught that way, but really it's been mainly jigs and live bait at this point in time. This week's edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about hair jigs. And if you're my age, you've been around for a while, and you've heard the old saying, everything old is new again. What comes around goes around. And if you don't believe that, think of some of the things that you never thought would be popular again are back again, such as mullet haircuts. Whoever thought mullets would be back? Also, vinyl records and turntables. I thought that would be a thing of the past, and now they have gained popularity, to say the least. And that goes also with hair jigs. Hair jigs are not anything new. They've been around since the 50s. But really, I'd say the 1970s when the plastic started coming out, the twister tails, all that became more and more popular. That really put, the hair jigs on the back burner. But back in the 70s and 80s also, the fuzzy grubs tried to combine the two with the plastic body along with the hair tail. So hair jigs have been around for a while and been very, very popular. And they've probably gained more popularity the past 2 or 3 years than ever before. And there's really definite uses to the hair jigs, to say the least. You can, with the hair jig, you get a larger profile with that hair body than you would with the plastic without adding the weight. So that's the nice thing about that. You're not adding additional weight to that jig to give you that nice larger profile. Also, there's multiple presentations you can do with the hair jig, especially this time of the year when the water temperatures are still cold. So that's where the hair jig really becomes popular. VMC has a number of different types out there, such as the hot skirt. The hot skirt hair jig is very popular because it glows, and so it's very popular for dirty water. The Missouri River right now, the hot skirts are very, very popular. Also, what you can see behind me, the bucktail is also very popular. It has a shorter shank jig than what you would have with the moontail. The moontail from VNC has a much larger hook, also a much larger tail. So again, you can pick your jig for the body of water that you're fishing and the type of presentation you're going to do at that point in time. So again, the hair jigs have been around for a while and they have been modernized. Also, a lot of times, when you're using jigs and plastics, that plastic isn't really natural to that fish. So they may be attracted to it and actually bite it, but by the time you set the hook, maybe they spit it out. The hair jig, it does not do that. It really makes it give you that nice profile that, again, that plastic body would do, but still does not cause the fish to basically spit that plastic out. In some cases, not all, to say the least, but again, there is definitely a huge advantage to using hair jigs this time of year and really throughout the entire season. But right now, they seem to be more and more popular because of the cooler water temperatures and also the dirty water, especially out at the Missouri River. If you have more questions about the hair jigs, feel free to stop on by or give us a call at 605-336-9132. Now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to Todd at DakotaAngler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And before we end this week's report, I want to remind you that this is not the only way you can stay up to date with the fishing report around the area. Another way is through our website at DakotaAngler.com, or you can also call the store at 605-336-9132. And we currently update that fishing report that you'll hear on that recording throughout the week. So again, 3 different ways that you can stay up to date with the fishing report here in eastern South Dakota. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next weekend again. Thanks for watching, stay healthy, and folks, stay safe.